computer. Everything I will be explaining here will be only the most important things of our projects. But when we come to some points that really important, and you should take a note because next day you will need it and you will need to remember them, I will let you know as well. So whatever we are doing, you can be in different language projects, but what we are doing is transcription. So it is not a translation. In any part of the projects, if you are not in a translation project, you will be hearing in the language you will be working and you will be writing on it. So if you are working for the Danish project, you will be hearing on the audios Danish language and you will be writing them in Danish as well. Our projects have their own rules. Some of them are very similar to the language rules. However, when we are in between, confused which rules to follow, remember that always the project rules is the priority for us. Although you will be working for the native language that you have, sometimes we may not know how to write all kind of the usages, like for example, new restaurants, some street names, some specific proper names. So if you have a doubt about how to write a usage, how to write a word, please be sure that you are checking it on the net and then you are writing them correctly. After you complete this session, you will be contacting your project manager. I will be showing you how to do that in the later part of the presentation. You will be writing to your project manager and the project manager will give you the access. When you have the access, you will start with your first audio. When you finish your first audio, you will again inform your project manager because you will have some detailed feedback about the first audio you submitted. And then later on, you don't have to inform your project manager every time you finish an audio. You will have the freedom to be working on the project and you will take the audios, transcribe them, submit them, and take new ones. Meanwhile, you will be having access to all written and visual kind of supports and the resources we have. So whichever language, whenever you are working, you won't have any difficulty in finding the answer to your questions because you will have access to the manuals we have. You will have access to the messaging system with the project manager. If you have a doubt, you can contact her as well. And then every week you will be having a team meeting with your project manager and with your team members. You will be discussing the rules, some questions, errors, solutions. And then every week from Monday to Friday, we have 2 practice and queries sessions. These sessions are to repeat because they are not the same. Depending on the questions you have, you can contact to them. Just a second that I will share with you this week's schedule, because here I will be only talking about the basic rules. And then I think it will be really nice if you participate one of the practice sessions we have this week, because there you will see some practice. Just a second. And then we have shortcuts which makes you work faster. So I really advise to participate one of these practice sessions this week as well. However, in order to start working, welcome session is enough. But in order to learn the rules, you will really need them. Let's see. Okay, just a second. I think it will be here. Just a second. I think ignore this one. Okay, the first one. This is the first session. It is Wednesday at 4 p.m. according to the Madrid time. The second practice session, this one, it will be on Friday at 9 a.m. So these sessions I will explain you later as well. They are really useful, and I think you should participate one of them this week after you start taking your first audio, because it will be really helpful. Okay. So if you come to this point, you already selected your weekly objective. However, I would like to make it clear for you as well. So someone who selected 10 hours objective is expected to deliver 60 minutes audio transcription. The objectives and the payment both are based on correctly transcribed audio minute, not the time we are spending, because depending on your experience, depending on your speed, depending on the audio, it can take more or less more time or the less time. So the payment and the objective is about the production itself. However, after you complete your weekly objective, you can do more than that. If you do more than that, of course, you will be earning more and you will be delivering more work as well. However, it is really important to decide an objective which is really realistic. Sometimes if you're telling me that you will be delivering 3 hours audio and then you don't even complete 30 minutes audio, it is not really realistic. You are promising an objective and you don't achieve it. So instead of this one, it is really important you decide an objective which is correct, and then you do more than that. About the payments are monthly based. Every month, your project manager is informing you about the last day of the month's payment. And this information has nothing to do with your workflow. You don't stop working, you don't have to wait for anything. You are just informed about the last day of the month, which will be included in your monthly payment. And then when the date comes, your project manager is doing all necessary calculations. And then on the second or third day of the next month, you will see on your in your inbox an email about invoices. The very first month, it may be ending on your spam folder. So be sure that when the time is coming, you are checking your spam folder, and then you can send these invoice emails to your inbox so that next month it will be there instead of in your spam folder. So when you have this automatic invoice email, you should read it carefully because all the instructions will be there. You will be checking your draft invoice, and then you will be sending your confirmed invoice to my colleagues, which is finance department. They will be, we have many freelancers from all around the world. So depending on the time you are sending your confirmed invoice, my colleagues just start proceeding with the invoices and the payments. However, it may take some time. Because of this reason, as you can see in my slide, the finance department has 30 working days to proceed with the payment. However, it doesn't mean that they stop working and they wait for 30 minutes to proceed with it, but they just proceed with the invoices, and whenever they proceed with yours, they send the confirmation email to you telling that they did the payment. So as it is an international payment most of the time, it takes a little bit of time to have the payment in your account. Your project manager, how we are going to contact our project manager, we will be using Sigma Connect. Sigma Connect, where you signed all these documents in addition to the contract. And there we have a messages part. I'm going to show you which part to use and how we can send this message to our project manager. Actually, after you complete this welcome pack, you will go to Sigma Connect and write a message to your project manager telling that you are ready to work because you completed the welcome pack. However, you will have, of course, the email for your project manager as well. But we will be using it only for the urgent cases because we keep all the communication, all the questions and the answers on Sigma Connect, which is related with the project. However, if you have a case really urgent and you need to have an answer, you can contact her by email as well. I think all of you know how to have access to Sigma Connect. Sigma Connect, you have an email, welcome email in your inbox. You are just clicking on it. You are going to the page, and there you need to take a code and then just go to the page and see the details. Actually, if you already signed the documents on Sigma Connect, you don't have any problem about it at all. Here, let's try to see what we can see on Sigma Connect about the project details and how we can use the resources and the points there. Sigma Connect, depending on the location, you can see it in Spanish or in English. So if you prefer a language and you see the other one, the only thing you need to do is going to the top part of Sigma Connect, select the profile, and go down on the page just to the language part and change it, including all the documents you are signing. You can change the language and see it in English or in Spanish. So if everything is fine, if you just sign the contract well, you will go to Sigma Connect and you will see these details. It is very small, but already the information is changing from person to person. Project number, project name, you will be seeing the language information. This is the rate, the payment information. The hours is where you can see the analytics. It means since the day you participate to this project and start producing, every Monday your project manager will be updating stats for your site. Like if you participated today and if we are in May, you will see the accumulation from March to May here. So this is one of the places that we can see the work we did, and it is updated every Monday. So in order to see the project details, you can just click on the key symbol like this one. In order to go to the project details, this is really important. And if you do not see this one, but if you see that it is still loading, it means that you don't have access to the project. In that case, you need to contact to our finance department, which you were in contact in the selection process. You can write to them and they will be helpful. They will be helping you to have the access. So when we are just clicking on this little key symbol, we start seeing the project details. This is really important because you will see here access link, username, password, messages, and info. Info part, sorry. After you complete this welcome pack and inform your project manager, I advise you to study a little bit the rules here, because depending on your project, we have here a video, a tutorial that you can watch. We have some written resources, some important notes about the project. So just before you take your first audio, be sure that you already checked the info part. The messages part, as you can see here, is the part that you will write a message to your project manager, or anytime she sends you a message, you need to come here and go to the messages part. Okay, so let's see how it seems. So after we complete this welcome pack, we will go to Sigma Connect. We will see this access details. We will click on the envelope and we will see this one. If your project manager already sent you a message, you will read it. And in order to write a new one, you need to click on here, type your message, and send it to your project manager. Okay, now we are going to talk about how to access to our audios. So my advice, although it is clear here, you should take a note. You should take a note because I cannot just share this presentation with you after I finish it. And sometimes in the very first days, it is a little bit difficult to remember this process and it is easy to make some mistakes. So my advice is always take your notes according to your ideas and just follow these steps in order to have access. Okay. The point is that in order to work on the audios, in order to have access, you can only do all these things through a computer. We cannot use a mobile phone. We cannot use a tablet. Even in order to have access, you need to go to your computer. The computer and the internet connection needs to be a private one, a secure one. We cannot use a public computer with public internet connection. So these points are really important. You can use Safari, Google Chrome, Firefox, this kind of different devices. My recommendation is that the easiest way to open the audios and have a nice workflow, Google Chrome. So I will just tell you my recommendation that I should always have ready Google Chrome page and Google Chrome Incognito. I'm going to explain you why we are going to use Incognito, but it is really important. So the access will be in this way. I will open a Google Chrome page. There, I will open my personal email because I need to go to Sigma Connect, right? So I open Google Chrome page, my personal email there. I go to Sigma Connect until, as you can see, access details. Oops, I think I clicked on something here. Okay, let me do it a little bit big one because I think you don't see it. Okay. Okay, perfect. So we come to Sigma Connect until we see these details, access link, username, password. When we see these details, which is very personal for each person, I need to open a Google Chrome Incognito page. If we don't know how to open it, as you can see at the end of the page, you will see the dots, you will click on them and you will say New Incognito window. So now we have an incognito page open. What we are doing is that from Sigma Connect, I copy the access and I paste it on incognito. This part is really important. What am I trying to do? Dividing my personal part from work, okay? So Google Chrome for your email, personal email, and then Sigma Connect there as well. When we reach to this part, I open an incognito, Google Chrome Incognito, and I copy the access link and paste it on incognito. What am I going to see is that Gmail page is asking an email, okay? So important attention. It is not asking for your personal email. Never and ever write your personal email here. It is asking you your work email. Okay, so here what we need to do is Sigma Connect, username, beta, copy it and paste it here. So this is really important. I click on next. It will be asking for a password. In your first access, copy the password and paste it there. Perfect. Now, the system wants you to change the password. You will change it. However, remember, after you change the password, in your next access, you won't copy the password from the system because you changed it. Now you are the only person who knows the new password. So please select the password that the next day you will remember it and you will write it manually. Now the project manager and the other people, we don't know anything about your personal password. You are the only person who knows it. So it is really important that we decide a password. In the next days, we remember it and we write it manually. Perfect. So after we just write the password, what you should see is that your audio. Perfect, we just reached it. However, instead of seeing your first audio, if you have this error, invalid worker pool, you are not a part of the worker pool. There are two reasons for this error. The very first one, if you informed your project manager and tried to have access, and you saw this one, and your project manager didn't tell you that you have an access, most probably you just try to have access before your project manager enabled it for you. So the only thing you need to do is waiting for the answer from your project manager and you have an access. There is no problem at all. However, imagine this is the case. Your project manager confirmed that you have access, you checked it, you saw your audio as here, and the next day suddenly you saw this error. Most probably you did something wrong about the steps of the access, especially the part dividing Google Chrome with Google Chrome Incognito. So it's really important. Personal email is always on Google Chrome, Sigma Connect there. And when we see the project details, all these parts will be opened on Incognito. This differentiation, like dividing them, is really important. So let's go to an audio. Oops, just a second. I want to show you some example and then let's practice a little bit on the page. And let's see what we are using. Okay. What we are going to see is that when we take the audio, first of all, as you can see, it is coming, of course, I just touched a little bit to this audio, but the audios are coming with some segments. Segments, I mean, every bubble here you see, we call them a segment. So the audio is coming with some segment, some transcription. However, they are not correct. They are just automatically assigned segment with transcription. So what we are doing here is not correcting what we are seeing, but transcribing from beginning, okay? So you can just modify what you are seeing here, or you can delete all of them and start from zero. My recommendation is modifying them, because if you want to delete everything coming automatically, it is really taking time and you're really losing a little bit time. I think you need to be faster. In this way, always modifying them is making the work easier. So this is the total number of the audios we have in the project. Okay, for example, in this pool, we have 143 audios. We cannot select audios. We cannot decide which audio we will be working. When I open the page, whatever the audio is there, I need to take it. I need to transcribe it. I cannot touch a second or third audio. I need to focus on one, transcribe all, finish all, and send it to me. Some audios are really long, like 30 minutes long. So of course you cannot finish it by just sitting there 30 minutes or in a day. So what you need to do is that you can work on it when you are tired, when you don't want to go on, you are just leaving the page. And the next day you are coming and you are going on. When you are working on it, here it is not telling anything right now. I think I opened it in the other version maybe. You need to be sure that here, just next to the video link, you will see the last saving date. So when you start, just be sure that you have connection to the internet and the page is saving, because it is not possible to work offline. So in order to save everything you are doing, you should be sure that you are connected to internet. Any kind of problem you have, you are working and it is not saving, you should contact your project manager. This is analytic parts. As you can see here as well, when I submit some audios, I can see them. I can see the time I spent for an audio. I can filter it for 7 and 30 days. So this is the second place that we can have some idea about the analytics, about the work we are doing. This part is really important, because this is giving us the information about the project and the audio. When you're working in an audio, if you have a question, you need to tell me always the question ID. Question ID, each audio has a number, specific number. So whenever we have a problem, whenever we have a question, whenever we have some feedback to share, we are using this question IDs so that you understand which audio I am talking about. And also, of course, I will understand which audio you are talking. So in order to keep the track of your objectives and in order to keep the things much better, my recommendation is always that I keep my own track of the work I am doing. So imagine I transcribed all the audio, and before I send it, before I deliver it, I would take the question ID, copy it. I would take the duration of the audio, imagine 30 minutes audio, the date, 25 of March, submit it. So I would make my own list of the question IDs with their details, because sometimes I am sending you some feedback and you don't remember the audio. If you have all the task IDs, if I have all the task IDs, I think it can be a little bit more clear for us. Find answer. This part is really important as well. After you complete your audio, sometimes if your audio is really bad quality, nearly not transcribed at all, our revisers are sending them back to you because you need to complete your work. You cannot send the audio without working on it. However, sometimes if there are really minor problems, we are correcting them. And then we are informing you about your own mistakes that we should avoid in the next audios. And sometimes you deliver the work on Friday and I send you the feedback next Thursday and you cannot remember what you did. For those cases, we have find answer part. I can send you your question ID, the feedback, mistakes, corrections, and then you can come here and see your version of the audio and remember your audio and remember your mistakes as well. So this is really important in this term. Okay. This is for refreshing the page. This is just maximizing it on the page. We have video link. It is not compulsory to see the video, but it is really helpful. Especially when you don't understand who is talking on the audio, you can open it and see different people, their faces. Sometimes you don't understand the speech without seeing the face of the person. So you can just get use of these video links in order to transcribe the audio in a better way. Here in this part, guidelines. Again, my recommendation, whenever I open this page, I open my guideline as well. Here you can have information about, I have different speakers. What are the correct way of calling the speakers? Or I hear date and time. How should I write them? Or somebody is hesitating and they are not telling the whole word. How should I transcribe it? So any question you have, you can just check it here and find the answer. And it is really helpful. Later on, if you still have a doubt, do not hesitate to contact project manager because we are here for this. However, many questions you have, the answer will be here. This is the key for the shortcuts. Later on, I'm going to tell you are some technical rules that you will be using the keyboard and you will be using the shortcuts to work faster and more correctly. All of you from different languages, different computers, you have different keyboards. So if these shortcuts, they don't work for you, and most of the time you can have some problems, my advice, as I told you, tomorrow we have practice session, Friday as well. Just join it and learn the shortcuts there in a detailed way because it will be really helpful for you. Now we are coming to the most important keys of the page, skip and submit. How we are using them. I transcribed the whole audio. The audio is ready. I want to deliver it. So I will do it by clicking on submit. I click on submit. Normally, if there is no error in the system, it is telling you confirm and submit it. And then you just click on confirm and submit the audio. However, as you can see in my example, if there is any problem, the system doesn't let you to submit it. So if the system is telling you fix it, we need to fix it. We need to find the problem and we need to fix the problem and then we can submit it. As you can see here, the system is telling me which segments we have a problem. And as you can see, it is telling you what is the problem. So just go to the segment with problem and just fix all of them and send your audio. Skip. Skip is really important. We cannot use it randomly. Most of the time, please confirm it with your project manager because you need to get the confirmation of your project manager in order to use skip button. Or in some projects, you can use it, but you need to understand the reason very well. We can use skip with these two reasons. Okay, just to make it clear. First of all, we can skip means this audio cannot be worked, so I cannot submit it because this audio is not an audio to work. It means I am working on German project. Okay, so I open the audio. The audio from beginning to the end is in another language. There is no German speech at all. So in that case, I am telling that this audio cannot be worked because there is no German speech and I skip it. So it means the first reason is that the whole audio is in another language. I am just coming in a second just to get up water a little bit and I'm coming because I don't want to just disturb you by coughing. Just 2 seconds. Okay, thank you so much. So the second reason is that, again, I'm working on the German project. I open the audio from beginning to the end. There's no speech at all. It is only noise, only some music, somebody is screaming, but there's no speech. So imagine like I am here to transcribe in German. So if there is no German speech, I cannot work on it. So again, this is a reason for correct skip. Remember that if you touch the skip button without correct reason, the audio is in German and you are sending it as skip. And of course we see it, it can be a reason to stop the project. So not only you lose the work, we lose it and the other members as well. So we should be really careful about the skip button and we should use it correctly. Okay, so let's start with the transcription. As you can see, it is coming with some segments, and normally I am just touching them, modifying them. First of all, we are transcribing everything we hear. We can hear speech, we can hear non-speech elements, like somebody screaming, the phone is ringing, somebody is crying, somebody is sneezing, then the children are playing, 3 people are talking at the same time, 3 people are fighting at the same time, the television is on in the background, everything. We don't ignore any speech, we don't ignore anything we hear in the audio. I will divide this part into 2 parts. We will focus on speech, speakers, and then we will focus on non-speech elements. So whenever somebody is talking, how we are transcribing it. As you can see in the example, the first of all, we can, whenever we hear something, we can click on the plus and create a new segment. Okay, like this one. Or you don't have to create, you can use the existing ones and modify them. So I open the audio. Just a second, I need to deactivate it. By the way, the questions, any doubt you have, you can write your questions on the chat part And then when I finish the presentation, I will be checking on it there. Also, if you want, you can wait until the end of the presentation and you can take the turn and you can just ask me your questions as well. Okay, so for the first person I hear, let's do in this way. We have a segment already here, so I will modify it. I start hearing the person here and he stops talking here and okay, whatever he is telling, I am writing it here. That's all. The very first person we hear will be speaker one. We have some correct format that we use to limit like the mark the people. Imagine I am the YouTuber and you are watching my video. If you hear me telling, hello guys, how are you? You will create a speaker one because I am the first person you hear. And then this is my speech and I start talking here and I'm talking here. That's all. So if you hear my mother in the background, she cannot be speaker one. She will be speaker two. So each person, new one we hear will be a new number. Speaker three, speaker four, speaker five. In any part of the audio, if you hear my name, for example, I tell you, thank you for watching my video. I am Müzen and every Friday I will be here with new videos. Okay, now we know that speaker one is speaker Müzen. So I will change it. I will delete the number and I will write the name. You don't have to create new speaker formats because I will already give you those we are using and that's all. So if you don't know the name of the person, it is speaker one, speaker two, three. As you can see here, no capital letter here. This is not correct. We cannot use capital letters in the speaker part, or this one is not acceptable. The only acceptable part without any capital letter here, speaker, without capital letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, or if I know the name, speaker museum. Remember that, for example, you can be working on Chinese project, and then in the text part, of course, you will be using your own alphabet. However, here in the speaker part, we will always write as Latin alphabet. However, Chen inside of the text in Chinese, it will be in Chinese alphabet. However, in the speaker format, you need to write it with Latin 1. Remember that we don't accept and we don't use them like speaker mom, speaker child, speaker audience, speaker unclear, speaker crowded. We don't have this kind of usages. We only have, if we don't know the name of the people, speaker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, or if we know their names, speaker Muzayan, speaker Jessica, speaker Muhammad, that's all. Another format we accept pre-recorded speaker 1. Sorry, this way. Every voice which is recorded in advance is pre-recorded speaker. For example, you are in my audio and I'm driving. GPS is telling me turn right in 20 meters. So this voice will be called as pre-recorded speaker 1. The last format that we accept is unidentifiable speaker. When we use it, is that we can identify the people easily actually, and we can even identify them by checking on videos we have. However, sometimes a group of people are talking and they are talking more or less the same things. We cannot differentiate the speakers between them. For example, the priest is talking, praying, and the crowd is all there telling Amen at the same time. So these people, I cannot know how many people there are. Speaker one, two, it is not possible. They are a crowd. They are just talking at the same time. So for this group, I will create an identifiable speaker, and I will transcribe them under this speaker format. As you can see here, including that we can try, of course, we will be transcribing what we hear, but then we have some helpful labels. Let's see which labels we have and when we can use them. Foreign speech one. First of all, what we said before about foreign speech was that I am in the German project. I open the audio. I see that the whole audio is in another language. There is no German speech. In this case, this is a skip case. However, sometimes I open the audio is in German, but in some parts I hear another languages. So what am I going to do in that case? If these usages of other language is used in your language, accepted and used in your language, we write them. Let me give you an example. For example, in social media, although we speak different languages, now everyone is using like dislike, follow, unfollow. This kind of usages, they are not seen like English. It is like in every language. So if you hear this kind of foreign usages, which are accepted in your language, you just write them. No problem at all. But imagine you are in my audio and I say, I am in Spanish, okay? And I say, okay, from now on I will start talking in English because I have followers from United States. I want to just say hi to them and I start talking in English. In that part, of course, I speak foreign speech. So what I do is that, imagine from here to here, I say, okay, hi guys, I love you, America, and I send you a lot of kisses. Oops. So this segment where I am talking in English in my German audio, I create the segment, I select the timing, and I select foreign speech tag because you are in the German project and you are only in charge of your own language, not the other languages. So we select foreign speech tag. We have another tag, unintelligible. This is the point, how we are using it. Again, you are in my German project. I'm talking in German. In some part, because of some technical issue, maybe the camera or the microphone I'm touching, and I make my speech unclear. I say, okay, tomorrow at the microphone, you didn't understand the time, I will call you. So for that part that you don't understand me because you couldn't hear me, not because you don't know German, you create the segment, you select the timing for that part that you don't understand me, and you select unintelligible tag. PII. PII is really, really important. I'm going to just go to my example because it is like, okay, I will show you the example later. It is like personal information. Whenever we hear some personal information on the audios, we need to be sure if we will use PII or not. What it means, personal information. In our audios, it is most of the time people name, surname, name and surname, some address, ID number, some credit card number, some passwords, anything. Like in our audios, most of the time you will be hearing people name and surname. So whenever you hear it, you should be really alert because maybe you need to use PII. So if we hear some people name who are public, famous, we write them. I mean, if you hear a dancer, singer, politician, writer, Some important historical figures in the history. These names, they are public, so you can write them without any problem. Or YouTubers, even if they have very few followers, they are public people, so you can write their names. However, if not, if we are talking about someone that when I make a research on the net, I don't find information, it's like you don't know who is from just making a Google research, you should keep the name as PII. Let me give you the example. First of all, you are on my audio, and I say you, good morning, guys. I am Musean, and I am here again with a new video. I am YouTuber. So when you hear my name, I am a public person. You will write my name without any problem. However, later, as you can see in my example, I am telling, today I will talk about my grandfather, James. He was my hero. So if you write James on net, you will see many information. The faces of many people, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, but you don't know who is this person. You don't know which one is the information. So this person is not a public or famous person. So I need to protect only this information of PII in another segment. So here, as you can see, I am just doing like a speech, okay? Today I will talk about my grandfather. And then it says James. So James. Only for that information, when I hear James, I created a segment and I select PII. It was here, sorry, I just didn't see it. PII. Sometimes, as you can see here, it doesn't ask for transcription. So if it tells you don't put any information, no need. But is in my example, it is asking from me, what is PII information? So I just wrote it. And then I create another segment for the rest of the speech. He was my hero. So maybe you don't know, but if someone says, okay, I will talk about the president of Kenya in 1945 and what happened in those days there, maybe you don't know this person, you don't control the history very well, but you need to check this name on the internet. And if you see that he is the ex-president of Kenya, we need to go create a segment for the information of the person and then select PII tag. Okay, next label, offensive speech. I will tell you a rule that you will like a lot. Offensive speech, as you can imagine, is used when we hear some slang words, swearing words, like offensive speech. However, this tag, offensive speech, is not compulsory in any project. And then in some of them, even we don't use it. So my advice is not to use offensive speech tag at all. Because as you can see, even if you select it in the end, you need to transcribe it. So why you should just lose time creating the segment, arranging it again for the swearing word. So just ignore it and don't use it. Another important tag is unknown. Please take note because unknown tag is not in use. We don't use it. So whatever is the problem, whatever is the case, the solution is never unknown tag. We should never touch unknown tag and use it because it is not an active tag. Okay, now let's come to we just talked about a little bit about the speech and how we transcribe it. Now, non-speech part. Like we don't need the speakers. The very first and important rule about this is noise tag. And we have a very exceptional rule for this. So please take note. this is really important. Whenever you take a new audio, please create a new segment from beginning to the end of the audio, the whole audio. I'm not going to do it, but later I will show. Imagine this is the whole audio, like from the very beginning to the end of the audio. If it is like a 30 minutes audio, 30 minutes, and select the noise tag. We have this rule, so the first thing you should do when you take a new audio is that create a segment from beginning to the end of the audio and select the noise tag, because every audio somehow has some noise. Somebody is crying, somebody is screaming, the birds are singing, somebody is knocking on the door. So we thought that you're really losing a lot of time if you create this noise tag for each case. So it should be something similar, like a little bit easier for you. So if you put one noise tag from beginning to the end, just ignore the other noise points you will see. Okay, so if you already put it in the 20 minutes, if you see that somebody is screaming, you can ignore it because you already have noise tag from beginning to the end. I hope it is clear for you. The other tag we have, applause. So imagine, I will do it here. For example, here, speaker 2 is talking and somebody is applauding. So I create the segment, I arrange it, I start hearing the applause here and end here, and I select it. That's all. So just before I listen the audio, I know it very well. I need to have noise tag here from beginning to the end. Speaker 2 is talking. At the same time, somebody is applauding. DTMF. Actually, we don't use this one a lot because it's a little bit old style. It is like whenever we were touching the buttons of a mobile phone in the past, this sound is DTMF. For example, in a radio program. If you want to share with us the adventures you had this summer, call us 555 beep 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 245 beep beep beep. This sound of the buttons of the phone is DTMF. So whenever you hear it, you should use it. Laughter. Whenever someone is laughing, we should create a segment. When I start hearing the laughing from here to here, perfect, and I select the tag. Remember that we don't edit like in the text part, ha ha ha, he he he. We don't do this. We create laughter segment separately. Okay? Ringtone, whenever somebody's phone is ringing. Unknown, we already talked about it. We have singing and music tag. Really careful about this because singing is used in this way. When a speaker in the audio starts singing, I will use the singing tag. I mean, for example, you are in my audio and I'm talking to you, and then I say, okay, I will sing a little bit to you. My heart. So if the speaker of the audio starts singing, create the segment, arrange the timing when I start hearing the singing, when I stop hearing it, select the singing tag, and the most important of all, transcribe the lyrics. So you need to transcribe the lyrics of the song. The other one was music. Of course, if you are hearing me in the background, you hear somebody is touching the piano. This is music in the background. Another case for the music is that whenever we hear pre-recorded song. So you are in my audio And in the background, in the radio, Michael Jackson is playing. He is singing. But Michael Jackson is not a speaker of this audio. So in this case, it is music tag. So let me give you the example more. You are in the audio, Michael Jackson is talking. He is talking about his life, and later he is singing. As he is the speaker of the audio, we should create the segment, select singing tag, and transcribe it. However, if he is on my background singing, but he's not talking on the audio, he's a pre-recorded song. So this is music as well. I hope I could make it clear for you. If you have any doubt about the difference between singing and the music tag, you can just prepare your question and I will answer it after the presentation is over. So in this way, we talked about the transcription a little bit, how we do it. Now I know that it is nearly an hour. I will tell you 3 important technical rules of the project that you should apply it. Then we will just make a resume and finish it. But if you just apply the rules I am telling you here in your first audios and the later ones, your audio will be nearly 90% correct. So everything we are mentioning here, we need to apply them. And when we apply them, really, you will have a nice quality of the audio. Later, you will have some details to learn, some just making the rules more clear for you, some details, and then you will make it perfect. But really, if you apply these rules, the quality of the work will be really high. Okay, the first rule is the margin one. Okay, so every segment, as you can see in the example, should have some space at the beginning and at the end of it. So normally, if you use the shortcut, it will be doing it 0.1 second. You don't have to do it manually, and it is easier and faster. Of course, you can do it manually as well. Let's see that. A point. Imagine, by the way, we never create segments according to the waves, okay? We always do it according to what we hear, because maybe here it seems like the speaker is talking, but actually it is really windy, and this is all wind instead of us like we hear speech. So you should be always doing everything according to what you hear. Perfect, great. Imagine here we have a new speaker, okay? Let's say it is speaker 20. Starts talking here and ends here. Perfect. It is speaker 20 for me, and here says, I will transcribe it. Okay, I will call you. Perfect. I need to give margin to every segment I have. So I cannot start it here and I cannot start it here because there is no margin at all. This is an important error. This rule is really important. So I should give, if I do it shortcuts, it will be automatically. But if I'm just pulling it, as you can see, I gave a little bit space and a little bit space here. This is correct, which is not acceptable. Too much margin. As you can see, the speech starts here and the segment here. Incorrect. The speech ends here and you give margin until here. Not acceptable. So we should always give more or less 0.1 margin. This is really important. Oh, this is totally correct. So this rule is really important. Second rule. Half-second pause rule. This is again for any kind of segment. It can be music segment, it can be speaker one, it can be foreign speech, anything. So the rule is that if a person or music, laughter, whatever it is, stops for half second and more, this pause cannot be inside of the segment. Imagine speaker 20 is talking and then stops talking and then start again. So imagine I create the segment in this way. And here it stops. Let's make it seem in the same place. Okay. This is not acceptable. So this pause, I cannot keep it in the segment. This is the rule. If somebody or if music, laughter, applause stops for half second and more, this pause will be out of the segment. I have two options. I can take it here and then I create another segment of speaker 20 here. And it stops here with margin. This is the correct version. The pause is out of the segment. Or if I want, I have another option. Imagine I didn't see the pause and by mistake, I created in this way. Okay. And then I say, oops, I did a mistake because the pause needs to be out. So this is my transcription. What I can do is that I split it like cutting. And then I come here and I say, okay, with the margin, I cut it here as well. And this one, I delete it. So you can modify it or you can create different segments. It depends on your preference. The most important thing is to apply the rule correctly. If you can do it any way you want. And the last technical rule, which is really important, this rule is only for the segments with speakers. So 30 seconds rule, we don't check for it for music, noise, DTMF, ringtone, laughter, applause. We don't look for it. We look for it for the speakers. So the rule is that, okay, if somebody is talking, we should always check if there is any half second pause, right? To take it out from the segment. However, as you can see in this example, somebody is talking more than 30 seconds. This is not 30 seconds, by the way, but I want you to show you this example in the same page so you don't understand it. But imagine here is the 30 seconds and here is 1 minute. So this speaker is talking 60 seconds without any pause for half seconds or more to take it out, like a non-stop talking. So the rule says no speaker segment may last for 30 seconds or more. So even if someone makes no stopping, you cannot have it for 30 seconds. The only thing you need to do just before it is turning to 30 seconds, split it. 29 seconds, 29 seconds. That's all. So this is really important. And if you have this problem, it is going to tell you here when you try to submit it. It will say this segment is having more than 30 seconds and it cannot. So you should check out if there is any pause for half second to take it out. We cannot keep it in the segment. And if it doesn't have, just split it for 28, 29 seconds. That's all. We talk about already the noise. And now the last rule, 21 speaker rule. This rule is really important. Sometimes we have many speakers in an audio. It is like some street interviews, some radio program, like different people are talking. The most important thing is that you should be sure that all these people are different, not the same people. So imagine you hear different people, you are transcribing them, I came here and I transcribed until 20 speaker, okay, different people. So imagine here, I hear 21st person, different person in the audio. What I do is that, this rule is really important. I transcribed until I hear 21st person. When I hear the 21st person on the audio, I stop transcribing. I transcribed until here and I stop transcribing. The rest of the audio, it has automatic segments. They are coming in the beginning. So delete them, clean the audio. Mhm. The rest, we will delete all of them and submit the audio. This is really important. Submit the audio. Okay. So this is because we have many speakers in the audio and it's a challenging one. 21st speaker is enough to transcribe in this audio. We should be sure that these people are different. It's really important. So just to make a brief resume, remember that we will be on a transcription project. We won't be translating. Remember the access part, which is really important. Google Chrome for our personal email, incognito for the beta username and where we will see the audios. Skip case, it was really important to ask the authorization, confirmation of our project manager because incorrect skip may lead the project the stop. And then after you complete this welcome pack, you will go to Sigma Connect, inform your project manager that you completed the welcome pack. And then later, your project manager will give you the access. You will start working. And then when you finish your first audio, remember to inform the project manager because she will be giving you a detailed feedback. So thank you so much for your time. And I think it has been really a long one, a tiring one. Now I'm going to send you a short exam that after you complete the welcome pack, you can just check it and answer the questions. In this way, you will see the answers as well, and you can see if you understood the rules very well or not. And then your project manager will see the results as well, and she will try to help you about the parts that you didn't understand. Now I'm going to just check the questions and answer them. Let's see if I can help you about anything. I sent you the practice sessions as well. Remember that tomorrow and Friday we have to, and it is really important. Is it specifically necessary to use incognito mode or can we use a different profile in the browser? No, we should use the incognito mode. And the reason is what I was telling you. We use the Google Chrome for the personal email and we need incognito in order to use another email, which is your beta username, to work on the audios. They already answered here as well. Thank you so much. I have a question. Speaking of PII, if the audio talks about a former president, is this person no longer considered a public figure? Does PII have to be used? It doesn't matter if this is a previous president. When you make a research on the net, he can be that, he can be not famous anymore, but he is a figure, public one. We can reach him making a research on the net. So this person, a former president, we write his name. It is not PII. I had an example yesterday in my video where the speaker splits one word with half second in between like, I believe we are not allowed to split words in segments, but what if the speaker splits the word? We should always respect the rules and do what the speaker says. So your example is that. Imagine it is telling here, congratulations. Okay, it is telling, I congratulations. So the person divided one word, making a pause. So I will do the same. Like, that's so. If the speaker does it, I do it as well, and I respect the rules. So this is really important. Okay, somebody is going to another meeting. If there is music without lyrics, then should I use music labeled? Yes. Mhm. And then for a pre-recorded song as well. You are in my audio. In the background, I hear radio. People are singing there, but they are not speaker of this audio. They are pre-recorded. So in this way, it is music as well. Can you show how we can create margins using shortcuts? Detailed shortcut usages. What you can do is that just going here and see the shortcuts and apply them. In this welcome pack, I am not doing this, and you can participate tomorrow practice sessions that you can practice all these shortcuts. But the only thing you need to do is to apply them on your keyboard. So that's all. However, if you have some of them, they don't work for you, you can go to the practice session and they will be doing very detailed explanations there. Okay. Not at all. Is someone singing in a different languages? What label we use? Perfect. You say, for example, um, I am in the Spanish. Yes, I'm in the Spanish audio. You are transcribing in Spanish, and I am talking in Spanish. Like, hola, ¿qué tal? And then you're transcribing. And suddenly I start singing. So I am the speaker of the audio, and you should create the segment, select the singing, and transcribe me. But I am singing in English, another language than the project one. In this case, we will select foreign speech tag. So it will come before singing because I am singing in a different languages. Tomorrow meetings link is already there. I send it in the chat part. As you can see, 26 March, the first link is for the 26 March, the time. The second link event again, and 28 March and the time. So these two links I sent at the beginning of the presentation were the practice sessions. You can register them and tomorrow you can participate them. And in this time, you can just use your time in an efficient way to have some exercise before completing your first audio. Okay. I have a doubt. I have received an audio. It contains a minute YouTube advertisement, and the advertisement is in Hindi. But there are many speakers in this advertisement. So what should I label it? Each speaker is a different person, as you can see. So whenever a different person is talking, imagine this is the case. So you will, in this way. The first person I hear, speaker one. The second person I hear, speaker two. So you will create segments for each speaker. You will transcribe them. To create PAI in continuous speaking, it may not be possible to make margin. Yes, of course, you are telling this one. For example, like here, today I will talk about my grandfather, James. So as you can see, one segment is the other one, and the same person is talking. If the same person is talking, they cannot overlap because this is the same person. In this case, I can only put the margin here and here, but here, of course, I won't have it. However, with different speakers, yes. For example, in real life, imagine this person is talking here, this person is talking here. They are not overlapping, but I need to put margin. So if I put the margin, it seems like they are overlapping. I don't care because I need to put the margin. Even if they are talking at the same time or not, I should always put the margin. And because of the margin, if they seem like they are overlapping, no problem at all. They can overlap. Or in the other cases, two people, they can talk at the same time. So no problem. I won't ignore any of them. I will transcribe all of them. There is echo in some places in the audio. Should I include that echo in the segment or not? No. We create the segment according to what we hear and the speech part. So I should finish the segment when the word is over, the speech is over. I shouldn't wait until the end of the echo. Echo is not going to help us. So I think that's all. Any other question? Any other person who wants to talk? Shailesh Kumar, do you have any question? Because I think you raised the hand during the beginning of the presentation. I don't know if you have any other question now. Meanwhile, you answer me. You can just deactivate your microphone and you can answer me. Meanwhile, let me read the last question. Some languages use a lot of English word. If mixed language use foreign language label. The point is that some of you, if you are working, I, if you're working in a project which is code mix, you should consult with your project manager. Because this is different case. This is already, you may be working on a, for example, a Chinese English project. So if you're in a project mixed language, your case and the rule is different. You need to talk it with your project manager. My case is that if your language is only Chinese, and if you hear another languages, if you're working in Danish English project, in this way, your languages are Danish and English. So the other languages are other languages, foreign languages, but Danish and English will be in your project. So it depends on the language you are working. It is really important. For example, in Hindi, we are hearing a lot of, imagine you are working on Hindi project, only Hindi project. This language has a lot of English usages and they are used in everyday life as well. So they say good morning, hi, these kind of things they are in Hindi language. So if this is the case, we write them as they are. We don't use foreign speech tag. However, if this is not the case, if these usages are not used in this language, yes, for every time we hear another language, we create the segment and select foreign speech tag for that part. Unknown label is very clear. Just ignore it. We don't use it. It is not an active label. Unfortunately, it is still here, but it is not there. It shouldn't be there. So please don't use unknown tag. That's all. Any other question? I think you really asked nice and important questions. They really helped us a lot to understand the system much better. So thank you so much for participating the meeting. And then please remember to solve these questions that the link I sent you. And don't forget to participate the practice sessions of this week because you will see that it will be helping you a lot. So nice to meet you and I hope you enjoy the projects as well. Try to be a little bit patient with yourself because like everything new in our life, it may seem a little bit complicated in the beginning, but believe me, after a week, everything will be very, very repetitive for you and you will be the expert of the project. So thank you so much. Nice to meet you and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.